Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. And, of course, you good old boys from Africa, thanks for following Big C Sports from the Big C tribes with the pyramids in Giza. Also, we love you up in Canada, but Big C, there's still no one we love more than you good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south?
Well, Charlton, we got the autumn winds blowing in the south down here, getting ready for another great week of devastating football on the rest of the country.
Yeah.
And even in pro football, we play a little bit of that also. That's the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys are trying to find a way to get some of their players back. And ironically, I do want to say today is a beautiful November the 15th, 2017, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And I know just recently, Jerry Jones was talking about players that he would sit down if they stood for, or if they did not stand for the national anthem. And I think the judge believed him because he sat down his best player outside of Dak Prescott. He said, Jerry, I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it. That's how the good old boys help each other. But I'm sure Jerry was eating his words. I do want to say today's segment sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Big C sent you. So, Big C, I know so many things happen in the world of sports. We had, I think De La Hoya can read. He doesn't have the punch drunk that a lot of fighters have. He wants to fight McGregor when he saw the money that Floyd Mayweather put together. But he has to understand, you only get that kind of money when you fight with Floyd. See, you don't get that fight for McGregor. And I just want to get your thoughts on boxers come on. I think Sugar Ray Leonard wants to fight. He wants to come back and fight Floyd Money Mayweather. Big C, that make any sense?
Well, I think De La Hoya is about a decade late in that scenario.
Yeah.
The last time he had a decent fight.
Yeah.
Because the last couple of times he was in the ring, he was abysmal.
Yeah.
He was actually destroyed.
Yeah.
So his best days have been as a promoter, not as a boxer, Charlton. The Golden Boy, looks like the Hamburger Boy now. Okay.
Yeah.
He can fight in the heavyweight class.
Yeah.
So, to think that he could go in and challenge McGregor. Now we know that Mayweather didn't have any power.
No.
But what he did, he took McGregor into water that he wasn't used to. He took him into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah.
And me, I stay down in the kiddie section myself because the water's not deep.
Yeah, I
it's just enough to cover my belly when I'm in there. Okay.
Yeah.
So I look slim from the
hey,
abdomen up.
We all want to look slim, Big C.
but here it is. People think because he gets into a fight with Mayweather.
Yeah.
That okay, he went that far with Mayweather, I could take him.
Yeah.
De La Hoya, is fighting the donut boy every day. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's his biggest fight. But I do feel if he got into a ring with McGregor, that McGregor would actually knock out a boxer.
Yeah.
If not Mayweather, but if De La Hoya tried to get into the ring, you got to think about it, Charlton. It's been almost a decade since he had a meaningful fight.
Yeah, it has been.
And he wouldn't fight Pacquiao. He wouldn't fight Mayweather. He wouldn't fight any of the top contenders.
No.
At the time. So now you're going to come out of retirement. I mean, George Foreman is the last guy to come out of a lengthy retirement and to have any accountability in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
But for De La Hoya to think about that, and you got to think about the activity of that middleweight class, y'all.
Yeah.
They're not heavyweights where they want to stand there and slug. They move. They box. And so De La Hoya, he's got to put down a cigarette and a taco to get in there and fight.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to take place. The money grab is nice.
Yeah.
But also that ego will get him hurt.
Well, remember there's a movie back in the day that had the great Vin Rames, and he had that good old boy that was in there, and he told him, you go down, I think Pulp Fiction with Sam Jackson.
Pulp Fiction with Sam Jackson. Bruce Willis played the fighter in that movie. They called him Punchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Called him Punchy. And I'll never forget when he went into the ring, and he had an attitude in the bar. It was Vinny Rames behind the bar with the Band-Aid on the... Why did he have the Band-Aid on the back of his head, Big C? Did he shave too hard? Is that what it was?
He must have shaved too hard, I wanted a hair ball.
But he told him that you would go down in the fourth round, and that feeling sensation, I'm going to try my best. Vince Rames, that's feeling sensation. You feel in the back of your neck, that's pride. effing with you. You know, forget pride. I didn't say the way Ben Rames said it. In fact, in Hollywood, I'm better. Yeah, I understand. But I understand the fact that every fighter, he told him the only thing that gets better with age is wine. And now you have a lot of fighters that think that they can be what they were 10, 15 years ago, and that the public is dumb enough to pay for it because we missed somebody who was washed up when he left the ring anyway. But, Big C, that make any sense at all?
It makes a whole lot of sense, Charlton. You know, you watch every Sunday.
Yeah.
You look at these former football players who sit out there and they watch the younger guys who are making all the money.
Yeah.
And I have these flashbacks myself.
Yeah.
Thinking that, you know, I could go out there. This guy could, you know, especially with this last weekend with Claiborne.
Yeah.
You know, getting 6 sacks.
Yeah.
Every top sacker in NFL history that's still alive sit there and say, hey, I can get 2 if he can get 6. Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
I guarantee you, Michael Strahan was sitting out there talking about, damn, I can beat him, along with Mark Gastineau and a few others.
Yeah, yeah.
But okay,
yep.
You got to realize, it's been 10 years since Strahan played, 20 years since Gastineau has played, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
None of these guys could go out there and get a sack against one of the top offensive, even a backup offensive tackle in the NFL now.
Yeah.
You got to realize these guys are much stronger 10 and 20 years later than what they were when these guys played. They're more agile.
Yeah.
And so it would be mentally for that guy that's playing now, hoping this old dude would come out there and try to challenge him.
Yeah.
I mean, if he couldn't block a guy now, I guarantee you he could block one of those guys. And that's the same thing that's going to be with some old retired boxer.
Yeah.
Thinking that he can come in. First thing, Charlton, you got to get in shape.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
That road work is the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Getting up there, going that 2, 3, 4, 5 miles a day.
Yeah.
All right? You know, it's like Richard Pryor once said. He said, you know, when he was in the boxing ring one time, guy hit him, and he was knocked out.
Yeah.
But he couldn't fall.
Yeah.
And the lady said, ain't nothing wrong with us. He never hit us.
Yeah.
You know, that's the same thing with an old guy going out trying to train for boxing.
Yeah.
You think about when George Foreman was boxing, Charlton,
Yeah.
in the latter years of his career. He didn't do any moving around the ring. He just stood there and slugged.
Yeah.
He said, I'm 275 pounds. Let's see who can take more punches.
Yep.
That's all he did.
Yeah.
As a middleweight, it will take you in the deep waters if you're an old guy coming into the ring.
Yeah.
Let's see what the legs have left.
And you know, that's a good point, too, because even when I look at how smart, this is why I say I know we love Ali because of what he did socially. He wasn't just about himself. Ali did things that benefits, you know, the fighters of today, even people who are not in the fight business because of what Ali did, trying to create a social reform in this country. But I look at what Mayweather did, even going to his last fight to go 50-0. He didn't work out as hard as he should have because he knew he didn't have to. And I know a lot of what we do is make-believe. Disneyland, who doesn't love Disneyland? It's all make-believe. We all love it. And when you look at fighters now, because no one's ever made the hundreds of millions of dollars that you get in a fight by fighting with a Floyd Money Mayweather. Everybody wants to chase that what do you call that gold? What do you call that thing when it rains?
Golden goose.
The golden. You guys keep talking about the gold. I think the one you guys are having. Yeah, they're out of geese too, because you good old boys that got everything and put it on the dinner table. But everybody wants to come out and fight and relive their youth, and it's not going to happen. I hope they don't even stage that fight because it's not fair to the fighters who really do it, and they're in it and they're young, Big C. I want to get your thoughts on something too that we talked about. In the world of sports, and I know the UCLA players, they just got released, and thanks to, just give POTUS some credit to whatever he did do, probably wasn't that much, but also the Pac-12 and Alibaba, they didn't want to lose face with losing that contract with the Pac-12 signing to play over in China, but I'm going to give credit to everybody who did something to get those boys home again. However, I do want to ask you your thoughts, and there's a lot of people saying what should or should not happen. Just give your thoughts again on what could happen to those kids, because some people are saying only suspend them for half the season, and some people are saying take away their scholarships. No matter what the decision is, there have been a lot of players who've lost their scholarships over a steak dinner. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, let's look at this. You're in California. What are the California laws on shoplifting, okay?
Yeah.
The California laws on shoplifting, if convicted, is 12 to 18-month sentence, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a $950 restitution fine.
Yeah.
That's California law. These kids are California citizens, okay?
Yeah.
Also, what is the China laws on shoplifting? We know they're much harder than what California are.
They're looking at 3 to 10 years.
They're caught red-handed on videotape doing what they did. Otherwise, they would not have been retained.
They were on a spree. They were in 3 different stores. I thought it was just one time. They went to 3 different locations and did some shopping, Big C.
They were on a shoplifting buffet, as you would say. I guess that was the ultimate Chinese buffet that they were on, John.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing.
Oh.
So, looking at these kids, the UCLA gave them an indefinite suspension.
Yeah.
That means to tell me that let them come back.
Oh, yeah.
Which is wrong.
Yeah.
Because how do you advocate for any other young African American who is caught shoplifting and has to serve time?
Yeah.
Oh, well, since you didn't play at UCLA, you don't get a pass, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to give you 10 days suspension from school.
Yeah.
This is a situation where this year should be gone, period.
Yep.
I think that the scholarship should be gone because, as we spoke about last night, look at Dez Bryant's situation almost a decade ago when he was at Oklahoma State and he had dinner at Deion Sanders' house.
Yeah.
And lost his eligibility at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
And there's been many other players who have accepted some type of gratuity.
Yep.
From someone and lost their scholarship. Reggie Bush didn't accept the money. His parents accepted the money.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he loses a Heisman Trophy. He didn't commit a crime.
Well, what's that Kim? And I may be wrong by saying this, but he had a wealthy girlfriend, I believe at that time, Kim Kardashian, and boyfriends and girlfriends in college. If you got a rich friend, and sometimes if they're worth a few $100 million, they don't mind giving you $100,000 or $200,000. Big C, how much do you give some of your friends when you just like them for the sake of liking them? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, y'all didn't have any slab ribs that went off the grill. Yeah. I'm good with that, okay?
Even some golden goose, from what I understand.
Let's not get too serious about keeping them around the house on a regular basis, okay? We're associates. We're not friends.
I understand.
But, Carlton, I've looked over the years and decades at so-called amateur athletics, okay?
Yeah.
Think about this. How many amateur athletes swimming in the Olympics, okay?
Yeah.
That are college students and have sponsorship, have endorsement deals.
Yeah.
Okay? There's plenty of those that get endorsement deals who compete in amateur athletics. In track and field, Charlton, they're so-called amateurs.
Yep.
You're competing in amateur track and field. How much money did Usain Bolt, earn?
Yeah.
As a 3-time Olympic
a
gold
lot.
medalist. Think about Carl Lewis over the decades.
Yeah.
That won all those gold medals. 9 gold medals, I believe Carl was a part of.
Yeah.
But I look at all these amateur athletes, Charlton, over the decades that get all of this money, because you compete in something that's not called basketball or football.
Yeah.
And you can still maintain your amateur athleticism and get sponsorship paid, travel around the world. Because I've often wondered, how do track athletes support themselves? It's a non-revenue sport.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
It's a non-revenue sport. And yet you're traveling the world and competing.
Yeah. And that's a good point. That's a very good point you made. We call it amateur, but we know. And that's the thing. Even that good lawyer, Jay Billis, I think is his name, and he was on television last night. They had this great basketball tournament over in Chicago, I think at the United Center. And I believe it was Duke and Michigan State, and I think there was Kentucky versus Kansas. Now, each one of the coaches from Duke, I think Krzyzewski makes about $11 million a year, and then the gentleman at Michigan State, he's loaded. He makes he makes what, about $7 million, something like that.
Yeah.
And then your friend, what's his name, Calipari, that guy with those $5,000 suits. How much does he make, Big Z, for Kentucky?
That ain't even counts as zeros anymore. And then you think about Bill Self, who was in Kansas.
Yeah.
You think about this.
Yep.
Of all of those basketball teams, Charlton, those 4 that you talked about last night.
Yeah.
Which are in a metropolitan city? Okay.
Yeah.
East Lansing is probably the largest city. Between East Lansing and Lexington, Kentucky, are the 2 largest cities of all of them. Because when you think about Lawrence, Kansas, and Duke has 4,800 students, Charlton.
Yep.
4,800 students. So it's not a metropolitan school.
Yeah.
And right there on Tobacco Road.
Yep.
So when you think about the amount of money that these coaches earn, where's the money coming from?
Lotto tickets, perhaps? Lottery, state funding?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of those coaches are the state's highest paid employees.
Isn't that something?
Think about that.
Yep.
These coaches in athletics now are state, and all of them are at state institutions.
Yep.
They are the state highest paid employees.
Yeah.
We talk about government funding, what lawmakers make, people that, on the city council, in your Senate, local Senate, and Congress, how much money they make. The coaches at these universities, basketball and football, are the state's highest earning employees. So when we talk about where the funding goes from your tax dollars and all of that, we're paying these coaches millions of dollars, to go out and coach.
And free
labor.
You're
going to tell me that they wouldn't coach for less, Charlton, but, the game has gotten to where it is that they have these high-priced agents that go in and negotiate these outlandish contracts for these coaches. The layman person on the street doesn't understand that they're paying that fare, Charlton.
Yeah.
They're paying for that bus ride for the coach. Excuse me. That jet ride for the
No, they don't take the bus, Big Z.
They're flying from wherever they have to go to on a private jet like Roger Goodell. I need it for life.
Yeah, they got it for life.
When we think about the breakdown of that, that, these kids don't make any money. You think about Alabama. Alabama's a state university.
Yep.
Okay? So when you think about what Nick Saban makes, and what your boy makes about $10 million a year,
something like that.
Nick's making $10 million a year. Think about this. The basketball coach, Avery Johnson's making $4 million a year.
Wow.
So the top two revenue sports on the campus of the University of Alabama, which is a state-run university, is allocating out some $14 million for those two head coaches, Charlton.
Yeah.
It comes out of the state government fund of taxpayers.
Yeah. And when
because they're state employees.
And when you think
that's the reason why these coaches get away from it, and these universities can say, well, we're not paying that much because they're state employees. That's how they're getting away with it. When you think about these coaches across the landscape, they're getting this money because they're state employees. They're not university employees per se. They're actually governed by the state that they're coaching in.
That's a very good point, Big C. And I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. And for every athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports, whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, or your high school teams, even your mom and pop soccer leagues. When you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. I also want to give a special shout out to Narda Erickson, and she's part of Covered California in California, helping people get insured as well. And she also follows Big C Sports. So Big C, we just talked about something that I think is so poignant that a lot of people they don't even pay attention to anymore. We talk about the thing with UCLA going to China to play Georgia Tech, okay? And now we have these tournaments. These tournaments are the first 2 or 3 weeks of the year, and for basketball, and all of the money. There's probably, if we look at the 4 head coaches for just those universities we talked about, you're probably talking about payrolls nearly $40 million of coaching on the sidelines. When you look at the head coaches and then their staff, their assistant coaches, you're talking $40 million in payroll in 1 year on the sidelines for college sports. Yet a kid gets in trouble, and I know it may be a dumb analogy. Kids steal $1,000 worth of merchandising. Well, do you think the coaches are stealing like $40 million worth of free labor from these same athletes, Big C? Can you draw that comparison? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, how do you compare it? You've been getting it forever.
Yep.
This is like that girlfriend that you've been engaged to for 12 years.
Yeah, but not me, Big C. He's not talking about me personally.
Some listeners will understand.
Okay, we're down south. I understand.
The women should take this to heart.
Yeah.
This guy gave you an engagement ring 12 years ago and still haven't set a date. Okay?
Yeah.
So why should he do any more?
Why should he?
I'm engaged to you.
Yep.
So, isn't that enough?
Yeah.
That's basically what the scholarship mentality is. Well, they got a scholarship.
Yeah.
Isn't that enough? Why do they need money?
Yep.
Why do they need to eat more than just what's in the dining common?
Yeah.
We make them practice 30 hours a week.
Yep.
They shouldn't demand any more food or any more money. They are going to class.
Yeah.
They got a scholarship. So, we hold practice.
Yep.
5 days a week. Okay.
Yep.
2 hours a session. That's just the practice. That's on the field. That's not counting the 3 days of weightlifting that you have to go in and do.
Yes.
So let's knock off that hour and a half.
I agree.
So when you start talking about the time that an athlete has to put in weekly, 25 to 30 hours of physical participation to maintain his scholarship. Oh, damn. he has to go to class. He has to maintain a minimum of 12 units.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
At a passing level.
While flying to China.
On the academic standards of that university.
Yeah.
And they want to say that athletes are privileged.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't get any income. But so you're not like a regular student, Charlton, that can go out and get that little part-time job at the convenience store or way off the grocery store, to earn a little extra money delivering pizza because you don't have any time. You don't have any time. So when you're hungry, after one of these long days, Charlton, and you want a little extra to eat, you can't accept the free meal. Charlton, think about the kids. There's 2 states. Well, there's more than 2 states now, but it used to be just 2 states. Yeah. Well, one state that had casinos. Now you got them in Connecticut. You got them all over
the place
everywhere.
now. Yeah.
But you think about Nevada. They had a couple of universities there, one in Vegas and one in Reno. Yeah. Where they had casinos. Think about if a kid had probably gone down to one of those casinos. Yep. And accepted a free meal. They may have been suspended. But now you got Connecticut. You got California. Yep. You got Kansas. You got all these states. Florida. With these casinos now.
New Jersey?
Yeah, New Jersey. So what if these kids go into these casinos and get a free meal from a booster? Yeah. Do they risk losing their scholarship, getting suspended for a game like Dez Bryant did when he took a free meal from Deion Sanders?
Yeah. Well, do you think about, and that's a great question you brought up, I think about the late Jerry Tarkanian. He coached at Long Beach State, he coached at Fresno State, but he had his heyday back at UNLV, the Running Rebels, where they were, in fact, I think they went undefeated one season, and they ended up losing to Duke, I think, the following season. But that is a situation, you just brought it up. We talk about people going to Las Vegas, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. When you're recruiting for and I'm not saying Las Vegas per se, but I'm saying the perception. When you could get some of the top flight athletes from all over the country to go to Las Vegas, and Jerry Tarkanian took good care of his young kids. I don't know if he ever did anything or not, but I know there's always some allegations around it when he was coaching back in the day. You telling me that none of these teams on these national championship teams from UNLV that were one of the best programs in the country every year when Tark was there, none of them good old boys ever got a free dinner from some booster that wanted to support the Running Rebels Big C? Am I supposed to believe that? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, what really helped bring that program down was, that Anderson Hunt and Greg Anthony were seen in the hot tub of a booster. Yeah. And they said that was impropriety. Yeah. All they were doing was sitting there in a hot tub. Yeah. At a gentleman's house or at a casino, wherever it was. Yeah. And all of a sudden the university comes under sanction because they said the guy was a known gambler. Yeah. Well, they weren't gambling in the hot tub, Charles. No. They were sitting there taking in some warm water. That's all they were doing.
That's all. I'm sure that's all they were doing in the hot tub in Vegas, Big C. Just warm water and a couple of bikini-clad friends to hand you the water. Is that what you're trying to say, Big C?
Well, I would think about some of these universities around the country that have had all these allegations of
Louisville
activity. Louisville's one of them. So, this is nothing new, Charlton, whether it's football or basketball. Yeah. But it's how do you want to sanction individuals? You think about it. When they said, Tark, there was a shark hunt for Tark every year. Yeah. Even when he was at Long Beach State, prior to going to UNLV. Yeah. The NCAA chased him forever. Miles Brand tried to make him his girlfriend because he was after him all the time. I mean, he was like Roy Moore, this judge out of Alabama.
The guy that grabs women?
That's what Miles Brand was like in those days.
But he's also like Sessions because he forgot too. Okay, Jefferson.
I don't recall.
I don't remember. That's so funny when you think about all the good old boys. And see, I look at the UCLA thing, and these are 3 young African-American kids, and people want to say, well, they did it wrong, but their coach makes nearly $10 million a year. He could have bought them those watches had he wanted to. I'm not saying that they did right. I'm saying that when you starve people, and don't think because they get a scholarship that they're living high on the hog, and these coaches are wearing these $1,000 suits, and they also wear these $500 shoes, they fly first class wherever they want to, and the kid can't get a $50 steak dinner without someone saying he did something wrong.
At some point, just like when you get these coaches like Pitino, and you make them the fall guy, and you snatch all that from under them, it makes other coaches pay attention. The FBI investigated this. Pitino's not the only coach going to go. The kid, the guy at Auburn, he's going to go. Yeah. So, and he's been in trouble before. Yep. But when you start letting the kids do this, Charlton, now they're doing this as minors, okay? Yeah. you want to nip this in the bud. It's like when you got a kid at home and he's doing something wrong. If you don't correct him when he's young,
then law enforcement will.
Older, Charlton, law enforcement will. Yeah. This is a learning point, not just for UCLA and young athletes. This is a learning point for the NCAA, Charlton.
Yeah. But see,
you can't leave just this governing down to UCLA.
Yeah.
This is where the NCAA's governing body has to step in and say this will not be tolerated.
Yep.
Whether it's UCLA or any other university.
Yeah.
The scholarships have to be revoked, Charlton. They honestly do.
They're not going to do it. Too much money.
If UCLA and the NCAA turns a blind eye on this and say all this deserves is a suspension.
Yeah.
How do you go out and reprimand the next athlete, Charlton, that has an impropriety?
Yeah.
Okay, how do you go out and do that? You get a kid now, and again, and his defense will always be you let the three guys off at UCLA, and so you can't do anything to an athlete down the road, Charlton. You have to set a precedent.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
And to say the only reason this story has legs, Charlton, is because the name ball is in it. And I'm not talking about basketball.
Yeah.
Okay? The ball came because of the big mouth daddy.
Yep.
And think about it. The daddy said, this is no big deal. My son's shoplifting. It's no big deal.
That's a bad look.
So think about what that says to the next dad.
Yeah.
And his son gets in trouble. They say, well, ball says no big deal.
Yeah.
Because his son was shoplifting and he only got a slap on the hand.
Yeah.
How do you lock up my kid?
Yeah, that's a good point,
how do
Big
you
C.
lock up my kid and you let those kids off? Because I want to go back to an incident with Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
When Allen Iverson was in West Virginia, Charlton.
Yeah.
Greatest high school athlete in the country, basketball and football.
Yeah.
Allen Iverson went to jail because he was at a fight, okay? He wasn't in the fight, he was at a fight.
Wow.
But because Allen Iverson was the best player in the state, and a lot of people were mad because he didn't go to school in Virginia.
Yeah.
That he had committed to Florida State to play football.
Yeah.
And ended up at Georgetown playing basketball. So they put Allen Iverson in jail.
Wow.
Okay? The same thing they did to Randy Moss because he wasn't in West Virginia and he was around a fight.
Yeah.
Both of these African-American athletes, Charlton, went to jail because they wouldn't commit to certain universities to help out the pockets of those universities.
Yeah.
It's all about money.
Yep.
But they didn't commit a crime.
Wow.
And so these guys that are committing crimes, Charlton, are going to get a free pass.
Yeah.
So it doesn't serve well for the next young African-American Charlton that comes along and commits a crime.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they should, but you can't give kids the privilege of pass, Charlton. You just can't do it.
I agree. It's a bad precedence when you let them do what they did, and you say, oh, we're just going to suspend you for a game. It's just, okay, now everybody can do it. They're just going to get a game or two suspension. But I still have an issue with the fact that the NCAA not paying people is an antitrust violation. Now, they'll use their own money.
Your president doesn't pay taxes.
Well, I understand that.
You cry on a basketball coach
making
a few $1 million, and you got your president making hundreds of $1 millions.
Yeah.
Also, the monument clause.
Yeah.
He's making money off the monument clause.
Yeah.
Since he's been president, he's made a few $100 million. He's out cutting deals for him and his family, okay?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so if you got the president out, corruption, working in the world of corruption as a president, using the White House as a cash pool pit, okay? You can't talk about a coach for the few $1 million he makes, and the president probably doing that weekly.
Well,
okay?
that's a very good issue you brought up, and I do want to get on something too, because a lot of the media people that showed up at the airport when the players flew back into Southern California, there were some reporters in the TV stations even took the time to kind of put it in fonts on TV. Well, do you like Donald Trump now? And I would like these same TV stations to go talk to all these women who've been coming out about being sexually assaulted and ask the president to defend them. Why won't he defend their honor? And those same people who are saying, well, basketball players, do you like Donald Trump now? Well, Donald Trump should give the same opportunity to the women who've been sexually assaulted to come out and say, you know what, our president stuck up for us and said that will not be tolerated in this country. But the president has never come out and defended women who claim that they were sexually assaulted. Now, I know he's had his own sexual harassment lawsuits, and somehow they go away when enough money showed up, Big C. But he can still come out and say, I'm in defense of all women who've been assaulted in this country, and it would not be tolerated. So why won't the president do that, Big C? Your thoughts?
Let me tell you how out of touch this president is, okay?
Yeah.
This president sends out a tweet last night. Now, we had a mass shooting in El Clemente, California last night, okay?
Yeah.
And another tragedy, since he's been president, this has been three, Charlton, in the last week and a half, 3 mass shootings in America.
Yeah.
You know, under this president's watch with assault weapons.
Yeah.
He tweets out last night, God's blessing to the people in Sandy Springs, Texas, a shooting from a week and a half ago.
Wow.
Not even knowing who he's tweeting to, Charlton. This was a tweet from him.
Yeah.
Instead of El Clemente, California, he's tweeting out to Sandy Springs, Texas.
Yeah.
He does not have a care about American citizens, nor does he care. You know, he's watching Fox News every day, and that's his resource.
Yeah.
For his tweets, for his knowledge.
Yeah.
Whatever they say on Fox is the only thing he talks about. If you think of mine, Google Fox News or watch Fox News any day, any morning, or any night.
Yeah.
And look at his tweets. They're identical to what they talk about on Fox News.
Yeah.
You know, because they back him solely.
Yeah.
Even though, like with Sean Hannity, been talking about this Uranium One deal with Russia.
Yeah.
That was oversaw by 10 American congressional committees, okay?
Yeah.
And he keeps trying to blame it on Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton wasn't even in the deal.
She wasn't even in the deal.
She wasn't even in the deal.
Yeah.
There were 10 different Senate and House committees, Charlton, that oversaw the Uranium One deal.
Wow.
Hillary Clinton wasn't in it. But if you listen to the president, you would think that Hillary Clinton was there negotiating every ounce of uranium that the Russians had a deal on.
Yeah, that's a whole. Yeah, that's true.
That's how bad we are as far as the leadership in this country.
Yeah.
Is that if Fox News tells a lie, he co-signs on that lie, Charles.
Well, we know that he defended. He loved watching Bill O'Reilly, who was a sexual predator, and they had over 17 women come forward, paid out over $30 million to have these women be quiet. I mean, he's such a nasty-looking person. What woman would want to lay down with him anyway? They have to pay these women or assault those women. But Donald Trump said that was his favorite anchor. I mean, if your favorite anchor is a sexual predator, what's that say about our country? I do believe in keeping women safe. We got to find a way to do that. Big C, before we close, I want to touch on a couple more things that it kind of irks me a little bit. I'm trying to lose like 5 or 10 pounds, so they told me to cut out pizza, right? So every man that's trying to lose 5 or 10 pounds, the doctor tell you cut out all that pizza. It has a lot of salt in it, a lot of MSG, a lot of other things. So Papa John's says they sponsor the NFL, and they're mad at the NFL because some of their stock is down. Well, after I ate one of the pizzas, their stock's down from me too, Big C. I'm not giving them my money. It had nothing to do with the NFL for me not eating Papa John's pizza. All I took was 1 or 2 slices. I said that's enough for me, Big C. It was not the NFL fault. Your thought, Big C.
Well, Charlton, for any pizza to make it the same when you're using canned pizza, right?
Yeah.
I mean, America's top pizza chains, Charlton, are all using the same product.
Yep.
And many Americans don't realize the oldest pizza franchise in America is Little Caesars.
Yeah.
Little Caesars is actually the oldest pizza franchise in America.
Yep.
Other than that, it was mom and pop shops putting together pizzas.
Yeah.
So when you do anything in chain mass production, ask McDonald's.
Yeah.
What's good about McDonald's, Charlton, other than their fries?
Oh, I love their fries. Don't touch the fries, Big C. Okay, that's fighting words.
Other than the fries, what's good at McDonald's?
Yeah.
Okay, they say the same crap everywhere in the world. They say the same crap.
And people can Google the ingredients. Don't get mad at it. Just Google what you put in your mouth because it might come back to bite you. That's what I've been told, Big C.
It's just consistent.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's consistent.
Yep.
So, you get what you pay for. When you go in and you think you get 2 pizzas for $15 and you got a deal, that's what you got. Yeah. 2 $15 deals. All right?
Yeah. So why is he blaming the NFL for people tasting the pizza and realizing they don't want to go back? You don't have to go eat the pizza. Why is he blaming the NFL for people realizing they don't like his pizza, Big C?
I mean, you think about it. Is Budweiser saying that their sales are down because of the NFL?
No.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, Budweiser is, every time I pass by a store, I see a Budweiser truck out there unloaded.
Yeah, that's true.
And especially on Friday, Charles.
Yeah.
They bring 2 trucks to the store.
That's true. Yeah.
They have to refill on Monday. After Saturday and Sunday, enjoyed these games.
Yeah.
But, you know, the pizza places, Charlton, what you have to understand is that, you know, finger food is the biggest thing during the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a chicken safe on the ranch. You know, on the weekend. That's no lie.
Yeah. And you good old boys got all that meat out of California because the chicken started running away, Big C. Is that what it is?
But see, here down in the South, John, we got a lot of wingless chickens. I don't know if they were born that day or what.
I think
a lot of chickens around here that can't fly.
That's funny.
So, I don't know if they're handicapped or what, but we got a lot of
man.
Down here in the South.
I'm going to start eating just salad from now on, Big C.
So when you think about somebody saying, I got to have a pizza, now cold pizza not always that good.
No.
But that chicken wing, when you drop it in that ranch and that blue tree dressing top, and you got that hot sauce in there, you good to go.
Oh my goodness. I'm getting hungry right now just listening to you, Big C. But I did think it was funny that a food company is going to blame the national anthem protest and bringing forth criminal justice reform, and they're going to say that's the reason our pizza stock is down. No, all you got to do is Google the ingredients. That's the reason your pizza stock is down for the smart people. Big C, I've got to get on one more thing. The great Colin Kaepernick. And for some knuckleheads, I heard a radio station in Northern California, and they had a call-in. You know, the stations that can't fill in their own time, so they have a segment scheduled for people to call in because they don't know what to talk about without somebody calling in and then insulting that caller. Well, some good old boy called in and said, I don't see what Colin Kaepernick has done. All these protests and stuff, it hasn't amounted to anything. If the knucklehead could realize the California Senate has 2 criminal justice reform bills that Governor Brown's looked at, even Roger Goodell's crafted a letter for Congress. It's because criminal justice system has been flawed against people of color, and it's been brought to the forefront because of the great Colin Kaepernick. So that's what he's done for you knuckleheads. Big C, does that make any sense at all?
Well, Charlton, let me tell you how asinine it is. There's a show on Fox News where they were sitting up talking about that Colin Kaepernick wrecked the 49ers organization and ran it into the ground. I don't know if these intelligent makers that they have talking on Fox really understand anything about sports, because they knew nothing about Trent Baalke.
No.
Okay?
No.
They didn't know his name.
No.
That he fired the coach that took him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They knew nothing about Jim Thomasula.
Yep.
The guy that he had hired. They knew nothing about coaching football.
Yep.
They knew nothing about Chip Kelly, who came between Thomasula and Kelly. What they win? 4 games?
Yeah, all 4 games, yeah.
4 games. They hired these 2 coaches, paid them over $20 million, and they got 4 victories out of them.
That's good math to me.
And they said that Colin Kaepernick, who under Jim Harbaugh, went to the Super Bowl, okay, and the NFC Championship the following year, and then to get rid of the coach.
Yep.
And the team went downhill, and they said that Colin Kaepernick wrecked the team, destroyed the organization.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the mindset, Charlton, of Trump's base.
Yeah.
Is to say that somebody else did it wrong and it wasn't him.
Yeah.
It's like Donald Trump not speaking ill of Roy Moore.
Yeah.
This judge from Alabama with all these sexual misconduct allegations laid against him.
They're friends.
Because he's a Republican. He's a friend.
Yeah.
And you know, they probably went out together a few times. And who knows what they did when they were out.
Hey, there was a lot of Tic Tacs bought that night, is all I've heard, Big C.
Well, you know, Roy Moore is known for groping, and Donald Trump advertises groping. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
When you're a judge and you ban from the local mall in the city that you live in, and you're a judge, you're a city judge, and you get banned by the local mall owner. Now, think about it. Donald Trump's daughter came out. You know, the girl that he would date. He said, you know, think about it. He's going to date his own daughter.
Wow.
So she came out and blast Roy Moore.
Yeah.
She says that any man who preys on children should go to hell. Now, this is the president's daughter.
Oh, really?
So I give her kudos on that.
Yeah.
Because she has the balls that her daddy doesn't.
I congratulate her on that. Women got to stand up for other women, but men got to do it too. And so I applaud anyone who stands up, especially for young people. I mean, enough's enough. We can't let that stuff go on, Big C. So congratulations to her and so many things in sports. Just because it's tough doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Sometimes you got to do the tough things. Big C, final thing I want to get your thoughts on. I look at this situation going on with the coach for the New York Giants, and you've been talking about it a long time, even when the season began, about Eli Manning and what they got to do. And they're saying after week 10 that McAdoo's getting tough and having a frank conversation with his team. Why couldn't he do it after week 3, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, he made some silly comment talk about, well, they all going to get paid for last week's loss.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Think about it. What type of motivation is that?
Yeah.
You got to realize, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Okay? After you get past the midway point now, where they are in the NFL season, everybody's contract is guaranteed for the season.
Yeah.
So they get paid what
anyway.
They pay and they haven't played.
Yeah.
So for him to make that comment, I guess he was making that comment to people who don't understand pro contract.
Yeah.
So once you get through 50% of the games, your contract's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. That's funny.
And so that's where that is.
Yes.
And so here's the guy who's lost focus. He didn't have focus. The only thing he did about the Giant organization this year, Charleston, was change his hairdo.
Yep.
He thought if he went out and got a slick haircut, that it would make him a great person, a great coach.
Yes.
But he forgot, it doesn't translate on the field
about
how your hair looks. He's not Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
Okay?
No, Jimmy Johnson has a good-looking hair. That's true.
Jimmy had a pretty head of hair.
Yeah, he does.
He did. He protected that, boy.
That Miami style.
But McAdoo right now, his biggest problem is that he's scared of the media and Eli.
Yeah.
What's going to be the drawback if he benches Eli? Now, you got to realize Kurt Warner was playing well when they benched Kurt Warner, looking at Eli for the future 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay? He was playing well. But they felt, and they were in the playoff run, Charleston.
Yeah.
They're not in the playoff run. They're in the first round run.
Yeah.
They're in that first round draft pick run. That's the only thing that they're in, looking for a top 3 draft pick.
Yep.
So beyond that, what do you have to lose? I mean, think about it. The Buffalo Bills today benched Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor's 5-4 as a starter.
Yeah.
He has the best touchdown to interception ratio in the NFL.
Wow.
Okay, he only has 3 interceptions. And the games that they lost haven't been because of him, Charleston. They got rid of all the receivers. Think about it. You trade my top 2 receivers at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
And tell me you want me to be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
That doesn't normally happen.
No, doesn't make any sense.
When you have this team at 5-4 and you bench him.
Yeah.
So you're trying to understand, how do you bench a quarterback with a winning record in the NFL? The only one that's been benched this year with a winning record is an African-American quarterback.
Yeah, and people can Google that.
Show me how many white quarterbacks in the NFL have losing records, John.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Show me how many white quarterbacks in the NFL have losing records and have been benched.
Yeah.
Okay, it just doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
The only one is Simeon in Denver. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Simeon
a good point.
Denver is the only one, but he was benched for somebody who was worse than him.
Yeah, and I tell you,
the kid that they benched Tyrod Taylor for is a rookie.
Yeah.
Out of Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yep.
He's a rookie out of Pittsburgh who led the team on a late touchdown drive in the game last week when there was nobody from the opposing team, no starters on the field.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
You know who this kid followed up at Pittsburgh, Charleston?
Who's that?
The quarterback at Houston, Tom Savage.
That guy that can't throw a pass?
The guy who can't get the ball past the line of scrimmage down in Houston.
Yeah, okay? I'll take him.
Who could not beat out 3 other quarterbacks since being on the roster.
Yeah.
All right?
Yep.
So you know what you have in Buffalo. Now, this kid goes out and struggles this week for Buffalo.
Yeah.
What do? Tell Tyrod Taylor we made a mistake. We thought he was better than you. He's thrown 3 picks.
Yep.
That's what you've thrown all season in 9 games is 3. He's got 3 in the first half.
That's a good point, Big C.
You think it's okay if we put you back in the game now?
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes things just don't make any sense, but that's what I love the sports world for. You can get kids coming home from China, and you can say, are you going to thank me now? It's more important that the women who've been assaulted can ask you to speak out for them, and hopefully POTUS would do that. And I also want to say, Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bondini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young men rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, Charleston, the streaks just keep continuing.
Yes.
You think about the Boston Celtics. They knocked off number 13 last night. Right now, they're on pace to be the 3rd NBA team to win 70 games in the season.
Wow.
Oh, but hold up. Golden State's coming to town tomorrow night. Let's see how good they are.
I'm telling you, that's must-see basketball. The only thing we're going to be missing is Johnny Moss says Stephen Curry for 3. But you can find out every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide. Follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. As we always tell you, there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any woman going through that garbage, please call 911 so no woman has to deal with it on her own. And as we tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.